Hey guys, today we're going to do a graphic novel called Planetary and the Authority Ruling the World. Um, I did a Planetary review, issue number one, a couple of days ago, right? And I thought it would be fun to look more into these group of people, but also with the Authority, which I have zero knowledge about that. I know this is Midnight or Apollo and Jenny Sparks. Those are the names I recognize. The other ones only from visuals and art. Zero, zero backgrounds. I have nothing. So I'm not sure if this is is going to be a good review from me because, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that maybe this is more for people that has knowledge about these groups, where they come from. I'm not sure if this in between certain books or that is just a standalone things that is in here. Does it cross over into the regular books? I have zero information about that. So I read it and I thought it was cool. It's not the best because there's a lot of information missing, but I'm going to tell you all about it anyway. So without further ado, let's dive in. This is a book from the 2000s. This is written by Warren Ellis, Phil Jimenez. In my opinion, his art really reminds me of George Paris's art when it comes to detail and action. It looks phenomenal. But Phil Jimenez definitely has his own style. So we have some kind of an, alien invasion coming here. And when I turned the page, it blew me away. Wow. This is really what I'm missing from books nowadays and this year. This is amazing. Look at this. This is fantastic. So when it comes to art, I have zero complaints. Absolute zero. All right. So we have Planetary and the Authority here. And then Snow says, "What did I say? I said, don't touch the damn eggs." Elijah, the drummer, didn't know. That's right, I didn't know, Chiquita says. So I only have information about the Planetary, right? You didn't listen, you little freak. So probably is the reason that is all happening. Maybe. Just kidding. And this has happened in the past, I believe. So Snow goes to, I believe this is the Man of Cthulhu. Jesus Christ. What is his name? H.P. Lovecraft. And he invites him in his home. I'm not sure why he's doing there, but from what I've known, the Planetary is basically superpowered Indiana Jones, right? Relics, information, data gathering, all that stuff. So he invites them in. And he shows them. Down here, I confess I'm not certain how my entries reach you, Mr. Snow, but I'm told this is very much your line of business. And he says, "I write down here, Mr. Snow, and writing is perhaps my only escape from the constant pains and annoyances of the world. I live more vividly than on the page than in the air." So he explains that he writes for more than 30 hours without a break, without food, without water, right? And then he says that he reached some kind of a shamanic state, a transient joy by some of the inferior races. Now, the writer basically says to the reader that H.P. Lovecraft was a racist. I'm not sure that is really the case. Maybe he is, maybe he was. I don't know, is there really concrete evidence that he was racist? I'm not sure, but this is comics, let's go with it, right? And then we see this that we have seen in the Planetary, this snowflake, right? "The entire terrible universe rent itself apart before me, and it showed me its luminous, squaminous, infinite guts," he says. Right? And then he sees this. Are these superheroes? I mean, they look disgusting, but also wearing some superhero garment. And then this appalling vision passed while I found, well, Mr. Snow, I believe these to be well, I cannot say that word. Sick bigoted old bastard really believes black people bred some lizard or something. Whereas it was only your parent who squatted out crap with yolk in it. Ow, he says. I said I was sorry. You should have warned me the damn things activate when they contact a human. How the hell did you stop them the first time they turned down? Blow the X apart, Mr. Snow. No Nubian America. No Black Planet. God, oh man. Hold on, Elijah. The authority on their attack are on the attack again. So they don't know, well, they don't interact with each other with the authority, by the way, right? So we see them, attacking this monster. And this looks great, looks awesome. I want to know more about the authority, right? So Apollo says, forgive me if I don't know all the names. Dives into this gray matter, this brain's been exposed. He says, prepare for shockwave. And so he goes in and he has the power of the sun, right? And it looks awesome. So it seems that, I don't know, these guys can make shields or something. Not sure who can do what. I believe this is the guy that can make shields. So, and before the old, goo and matter rain on humans, they are being, stopped in these shields. So Planetary says, hey, that's Jenny Sparks. How long has it been since you've seen her? 17 years? I think it's time we all made her acquaintance, preferably without knowing a thing about it. So what they are going to do, so they are want to infiltrate planetary, authorities' ship. And Snow says, well, that's just stupid. Why would we do that? According to the file, it's 50 miles long, 35 miles high, and exists outside time and space. And you want to break into that, right? And he also says that people are afraid of the authority because how powerful they are, right? So Chiquita says, yeah, that's the reality of it, Elijah. It's 50 miles long. There's no way they can police every inch or every square mile, something with that kind of volume. We can sneak in the back door and no one will be any wiser. And he says, but why would you want to? Oh, come on. An operation like the authority must have huge informational archives. And besides, we don't nearly enough about Jenny Sparks. So this whole Jenny Sparks thing is believed she is then a threat or pretty powerful, right? Maybe a very important figure. Leave a comment below if you know more about the authority and planetary than me, which is not really hard because I don't know anything. Other than that, she shares a birthday with you, Doc Brass, and a few others. Yeah, Doc Brass, we've seen him, in the issue #1 of the Planetary. And none of you top of the century babies turn out to be ordinary. So Drummer got a theory about that. I think humanity's immune system. You want to run that by me again? I think the world grew you all as a defense system for the 20th century. Like Doc Brass and Elijah Snow. He thinks that's ridiculous. Yeah, without Doc Brass, Edison might still have built their supercomputer. And also without Doc Brass, there never would be no team in place to stop what came through the multiversal gate it's created. Therefore, without Doc Brass, humanity would be extinct. Without Jenny Sparks, no authority. Without you. I see the flaw in my master plan. You don't do much other than use up good oxygen. It says, oh my God, nothing to worry about, just modifying his windpipe. Reminds me of Homer Simpson and his kid, right? So this is the carrier that is in the bleed. The bleed is some kind of dimension, I guess. Reminds me of Warhammer, when they go into certain space and all these things around him wants to kill them. That's what I think. Anyway. So Jenny Sparks is, meeting up with her team, with the rescue people and etc. And so they brought something with them, right? So this woman says, Angie, I'm not sure. She says, I got something to show you. So she shows this thing that was also in the basement of H.P. Lovecraft. What is it? It's one of the spores what we splattered today grew out of this. I got the dog to take a look at its remains of its nervous system with me, and it turns out it reacted to human touch. Nothing else. Its specific and single trigger was registration of human DNA. It's a human bomb, and it's get better. It got bleed radiation all over it. It fell out of this front of us, the space between universes. Basically, it's not local. So, coming back to the bleed, does it explain what it is? Where baby universes spawn. Yeah, that's about it. All right. So this robotic woman, I'm not sure if she's a robot. But then she talks about what also was highlighted in Planetary. Remember the weird energy signature the carrier picked up earlier in the year from Adirondacks mountain range in America? And she says, by the time I got around making a full scan of the area, there was no sign of anything good. So I believe, it's just a guess, that this takes place after issue 1 of the Planetary, right? Because, this mountain thing, right? There was Doc Brass, behind a holographic disguise, right? With the computer brain built into the mountain, right? And all these weird things coming in. Defending them from universal threats and all that stuff. So it was this basically a real coincidence that they are talking about that, because it's we go into the mountain again, right? Yeah, you bring it anytime you have more than 3 glasses of wine. Thanks for counting. That bugs you too, Jenny. I know, I've been keeping half an eye on the place ever since. It still bugs me. Deep Scan says it's just mountains, but it's seen choppers all over it, unmarked ones carrying ordnance and lots of people. Carrier, give me the footage you shot from the first radiation incident in the Adirondacks. So, yeah, let me see the Planetary. I know this guy from somewhere. Well, in the 1939s, they have, some intercourse with each other. They look away in disgust. Were you any good? I was magnificent. You should have been there. I was never here. Neither was I. Okay. And she says, I know that bastard's face somewhere. So, and then we see a squirrel going into the mountains. This is a hologram, right? And then we see what happened inside of the mountain. And there's people dying. And there's some weird guy. And I have a lot of questions that's not really being answered. It started with the offer I see. Does he talk about H.P. Lovecraft? It started in 1931 when somehow a portal into the bleed broke open in his basement. I think somehow he willed it the way a few of the City Zero survivors can. The field team found one of the East Coast, remember? Something fell off the bleed into the house. Something terrible. The field team sets it off and are busy trying to understand what it was right now. But I know, because my father was the offer's undertaker. So wait a minute. So the whole thing with the H.P. Lovecraft, it was in the past, so he died. And this guy's father was the undertaker of the offer. I guess. What he saw was so truly awful that he could only entrust it to a man who understood death. He secreted his account of this event and his subconscious vision in a place in his body where only an undertaker would find it. So, and my father passed it on to me before his death, because I knew he knew I understood death too. He maybe is an undertaker. It became the driving force of my life. Because of it, I tried to work in Army intelligence, in the CIA. I applied to NASA. But then I found out about the Planetary. And I found out that the questions they ask potential employees are less penetrating than they might be, for obvious reasons. Mark Madeline told me about you before I went on his world tour. I smiled. Mark Madeline's in 9 pieces underneath the floorboards on a rented apartment in Columbus, Ohio. My father used to keep my trophies safe for me. So this guy's a psychopath. For years, I've been only Analysis Squad 23, looking for a way into the bleed. And look, the computer that generated a multiverse as a calculation tool. When Doc Brass, Hark, and Edison switched it on, they generated myriad parallel Earths. Billions of years of alternative lives collapsed into seconds. A little more physics, and they could have done what you caught me doing, turned it into a portal to the real multiverse. This guy's crazy. So this guy's, punching a number, saying that someone's coming and take care of him. So he shoots him. So then he activates the snowflake, right? This guy's disgusting. Why haven't you killed me yet? Because I need someone to have sex with. As I killed the world, of course. All right. So they teleport in. I must be mad. Not only did I collaborate in your illegal use of Saya teleport system, but I let you port me into the damn carrier, he says. Oh, Shasalaya. So they are going to work, right? But they need to also get out of here at one point. So so Drummer says, hey, there's a network spur here. All I need to get into the mainframe. This woman says, as far as I'm concerned, sucking the data brings dry and ethical facts. These people fought off an invasion from a parallel Earth, re-invaded that world, and destroyed their ruling power in less than 24 hours. The authority may as well be a ruling power, and I think we need to know all about them if that's the case. Interesting. Right, so he's activating the computer because that's his power. The desk gets a call, and that's the call from the guy that's, it's been dead, right? And Code Red, someone set up the Doc's Brass computer probably more than 10 minutes ago. We need to go right now. Where's the authority's teleport station? But then the authority gets also some signal from the Adirondacks, and it's got weird. So they're teleporting in, right? And then Drummer also activates it through the same method, same steps. He says, who's first? He kicks him in. All right. So they're going here, but then they are too late. So this guy's been ripped open, and he has a smile on his face. And let me see this. Shut down the computer, Drums. I swear Doc Brass laid here for 54 years in case something else came out of the snowflake. It switched one on since then. And look. Yeah, look, he says. Uh-oh. What are those? That's not good. So the authority is going into the attack, right? Sounds like authorities arrived. Something else too, there's information loose out there, lots of it, like someone screaming. Something underlying it too, something I might be able to look into. Stop yammering, boy, I'm trying to think. There it is, radio telepathy. I hooked into the authorities' private communications channel. So this woman says that this is a self-replicating war robot designed to annex worlds, and I account more of thousands of them. According to the math, if this thing's brain means there will be 10,000 of them in about 15 minutes. All right, so this is an invasion, right? Or something, or maybe a decimation of the human race. There are things waiting outside the perimeter of the universe for us to show a chink in our armor. In the 30s, it was a biological attack. Now it seems to have evolved into something better. Switch Brass's computer back on. Give me the snowflake. So the perimeter is being set, and I believe these guys are being disintegrated by the perimeter, but there's just too much. This guy's, is being overloaded. So this woman says, I found something. You're not going to believe where this came from. Why am I opening a snowflake? Because just releasing this thing into the bleed to wait for a gate into our universe isn't enough. The thing that they are talking about is this, right? It must have a connection to somewhere out there. Maybe that was the information you heard. Good point, I don't hear it anymore. Because you closed the flake, if the signal's coming from the bleed, maybe you can download it, Drums. All right, so it says it's giving birth. So something's coming out of it. I'm getting a download. Oh, this is disgusting. I can see right up its guts. There is something in the bleed, Snow says. But then Chiquita comes, grabs this thing, try to hold whatever is coming out, preventing from coming out, I mean. And then we see what's in the bleed. These are, an alternate version or a more demonic version of the planetary... authority. It's called the World Ruler. They just dropped millions of them into the bleed, told them to look for ways into parallel universes and invade those Earths and kill everything for them. It just gives birth to death devices until everything's dead. Just stopping these robots only half of the job. Oh, look, it's Jaquita Wagner. I love killing those. The robots are starting to reproduce. Now or never, we get a plan or these things kill everything. So Chiquita picks this birthing thing up. There's something coming out, right? And then she kicks it into the snowflake, right? And kills this, whatever this is. Shut down the snowflake, now. It takes a minute, but then Snow just punches the computer. Everything breaks. Everyone, Jenny wants a canyon. And personally, I'm not brave enough to tell that she can't have one. And then, I don't know, making a rift into the ground pushes then all these robots down and then close sesame. They're done. Get in there, find the World Ruler. Go, go, go. And then, well, Planetary's gone. Must have been a hell of a fight, though. We worry about this later. Not a bad job, people. But it's like I keep telling you, if you want to save the world, you have to think big. So, and then morning, beautiful morning. It reminds me of something Axel Brass or, Doc Savage once said to me, save the world and we'll pay you every second of every day. We saved the world. Yeah, we had help. The figures in the bleed beyond the snowflake. Who did they remind you of? Yeah, like I said, the authority may be a ruling power. The more we know about them, there's less chance there is of them turning out like that, obsessed with ruling worlds. Strange worlds. Let's keep it that way. The end. So, what do I think about this? Maybe I should pick up these Stormwatch trade paperbacks to get a little bit more knowledge about, Authority and Stormwatch. So, what do I think about that? The whole... I believe this is more like Cthulhu-esque stuff because, H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know, there's a lot of questions that I have, the whole H.P. Lovecraft thing, what is his deal, except, being in here because of the Cthulhu monster here, right? I guess. The whole, whatever came out into the bleed, what does it want? I like, the backstories between, Elijah Snow and Jenny Sparks. I didn't know that, right? So there's a connection between these two. Not sure if there's a future comics, from the Planetary or Authority that we can show you a little bit more. This guy's deal, why does he want to, I don't know, kill everything? Maybe he's gone insane because of the H.P. Lovecraft thing, because that's the whole H.P. Lovecraft's thing, right? Making people mad because of what's happened in the stories. So I'm not getting that. This World Breaker, did I say that correctly? World Ruler. What its deal? Are these the World Rulers, right? What does it actually want except killing everything? Is it just an, extinction level threat? Do they just want to kill everything? I don't know. We might not know ever. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. Maybe we need to know more about the Authority and the Planetary to find out. So for a standalone, it's confusing. The art is great. The story is actually interesting, but it would have been better if it's, maybe the book was thicker, or maybe we have a second book explaining the World Ruler thing and having, Planetary and Authority battling that threat instead of, closing the gate and now it's all over, right? Maybe. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this. See you next time. Bye-bye.